Hello everyone, my name is Naomi, aka Nifty Nomi, and welcome to my channel, Be That Business. I'm a Canadian bookkeeper and a new business educator, and I help entrepreneurs look under the hood to see how it all works. I'm fighting the good fight against double work and against giving CRA more money than you have to. I've been putting out useful and interesting newsletters twice a month on the 14th and 29th. If you prefer to read your newsletters, check out my sign-up link in the description below. There's also a link to the transcript of today's newsletter. On to today's newsletter. Hello and welcome to May 14th, 2024. If you have employees, let this be a reminder. Wednesday, May 15th, payroll taxes are due. Save time, pay online. Save money, pay on time. This is the fourth in a series on how to read your financial statements. The three before are linked in the description below. The first was P&L versus balance sheet. Next, I discussed how bookkeeping transactions affect the financials, and just last month, I discussed year-end adjusting entries. This month, I start to ask, how can you know how reliable those numbers even are? In today's newsletter are 3 hacks to help you check the reliability of your bookkeeping. If you don't do the bookkeeping yourself, you can still ask to crack it open and check for these red flags. My 3 business hacks for May. Business hack number 1, uncleared bank and credit card transactions. Now, 0 is my favorite number. Seeing a bank reconcile is one of the most satisfying feelings in the universe. But reconciling the bank isn't just about the 0. When a bookkeeping entry, such as a check written and put in the mail, is cashed by the recipient, we see it clear the bank. Step 1 of a bank reconciliation is making sure that every transaction that has cleared the bank is in the bookkeeping. That is, we make sure that each line on the bank statement for the month is in the bookkeeping, and we check it off as cleared with a check mark. When they're all in and checked off, we get our 0, and it feels like we're done, but we are not. Step 2 of the bank reconciliation is making sure that the bookkeeping transactions for the period that have not cleared the bank make sense. For example, if you wrote a check on April 29th and popped it in the mail, it is reasonable to expect that it has not cleared the bank as of April 30th. This uncleared transaction makes sense. We don't delete it or redate the check because those funds are spoken for. And on your balance sheet, you want to see what your bank balance is if all of the checks you wrote cleared. Now, this is why your bank balance on your bookkeeping is different than your bank balance on your bank statement. But you can't just gloss over all the uncleared bookkeeping transactions and hope it's okay. You have to evaluate each one and ask, does this make sense? A debit card purchase on April 15th? Still uncleared as of April 30th? There is a problem to solve. A credit card payment of $10,000 that shows up on the credit card statement, but is uncleared on the bank reconciliation screen. There's a problem to solve. A bank deposit that's on your reconciliation screen that did not clear the bank, there's a problem to solve. An accumulation of uncleared items at the top of your bank reconciliation screen that were not resolved in previous reconciliations, there are a lot of problems to solve. If you want to know what that looks like on QBO, let me show you really quickly. So I'm going to go over to transactions. I'm going to go just to reconcile, and I'm just going to pop in a 0. I'm just going and opening it up, just having a quick peek. Whatever, today's date, no big deal. I'm going to not save. But as I look here, I can see that there are 3 uncleared transactions from previous months that didn't get resolved during the last reconciliation, or they got added after the last reconciliation happened, but they're not cleared. And that means that there's some issues to find. Like, did the $4,500 not go in, or is it in twice, right? Did you not pay the UDO bill, or maybe you've got that UDO bill in twice? As we scroll down, we can see actually also that there is this transfer that's uncleared in the current period. And it actually did clear, it's right here, but we can see, oh, this one, see, it's much easier in context in the current when you're reconciling to solve it. Yes, I can see that that is in twice. But if you're just checking the integrity of your bookkeeping file, the main thing that you're looking for is to see if there's any older uncleared transactions that haven't been cleared for a very long time. What I'm going to do is, instead of saving for later, because I have like the zero balance and the weird ending date, and I haven't done anything, I'm just going to close without saving, and it goes back to what it was. Business hack number 2. It's not just about the bank reconciliation. Many people assume if the bank reconciles to zero, things are fine. But as I just noted, sometimes the zero is only half the story and the bank isn't actually reconciled. But wait! There's more to the story. There are a lot of other balance sheet accounts that need reconciling and confirming that affect your financials if not monitored. For example, what if you created an invoice for a client and the client paid, but when you saw the payment go into the bank through the bank feed, instead of marking the invoice as paid and deposited to the bank, you just saw that line item on the bank feed and increased sales again? This actually happens a lot with new QBO users. Instead of being instigated by the check to enter a payment, they feel that monitoring the bank feed will be all they need to do. And if the deposit doesn't match the invoice amount perfectly, maybe because of rounding or a payment of multiple invoices on one check, or it's a combined deposit, different clients are paying on one deposit, or maybe it's simply just a very, very late payment, then QBO's bank feed just asks, "Is this sales?" And the new QBO user may just say, "Sure," and click add, and boom, the income is now in twice. And the bank reconciles. And there are no uncleared items in the bank reconciliation screen. But your accounts receivable is now incorrect. It says an invoice is unpaid when it's actually paid. So crack open that open invoices list and look at it critically. Same with the unpaid bills list. The accounts receivable general ledger account, open invoices, and the accounts payable GL account, unpaid bills, are examples of where mistakes can hide, and so also where they can be found. But they're not the only ones. Undeposited funds is another common GL account on the balance sheet where entries can hide outside of that bank reconciliation. Again, suppose the bookkeeper has entered a client payment now and noted that it is paid and deposited to undeposited funds. So the accounts receivable report is now correct. The invoice is marked paid. But when the deposit goes into the bank and they see it on that bank feed, instead of using the undeposited funds screen for the same reasons I noted before, the QBO user inadvertently just notes that this deposit is sales. Now, the bank reconciles, and accounts receivable is correct. That invoice is marked paid. But undeposited funds now has money in it that shouldn't be there. So, when checking your bookkeeping file's integrity, after you confirm that there are no unreasonable uncleared bank transactions and credit card transactions on the reconciliation screens, move to the balance sheet and check the accounts receivable, so the open invoices, the accounts payable, the unpaid bills, and the undeposited funds. Now, you can check these things with any bookkeeping software that you're using, but I'm just going to quickly show you what it looks like with QBO. So to review your accounts receivable and your accounts payable balances, a great way to do it too is to look at it from a subledger perspective, like who actually owes you and who do you actually owe. So we're going to actually look at the open invoices and the unpaid bills reports. Over on reports, open invoices is down at the who owes you. I'm just going to put a star up there. When you put a green star, it pops up here. So we're going to go open invoices, and I like the classic view. And what we can see here is just a list of the unpaid invoices that are open. And if you look at that and you're like, hold on, Anita Bath, she paid me $10,000. Like, what's going on? Like, why is this still showing as open? Well, now is that an income that is in twice or a $10,000 that's applied to the wrong person? We can also check reports the unpaid bills from the other perspective. And this is one that you can check by confirming 2 vendor statements. We're going to go to what you owe, unpaid bills, little green star, so it helps us next time. And again, this is because this was a mixed. It's usually not this this many columns. It's because I use this file to show how to use foreign currency. And once you turn foreign currency on, QuickBooks defaults to these crazy annoying additional columns that I have not yet found helpful in any way. So let me just get rid of those like that. So here we go. It's a bit better. And we can see that we've got some unpaid bills here, a credit. Maybe we've paid WSIB from 2022, but we've still got an unpaid bill. So what's that about? So looking at your unpaid bills is another way of checking that your bookkeeping file is reasonable and up to date. Another GL account that I find people have a balance in. So if I go to reports, this is where we're going to find our balance sheet. And as I had said before, you want to sort of look at all of your balance sheet accounts and sort of make sure that they're reasonable. And here's an example of undeposited funds being 13,2007. Maybe I can see what the problem is. I was illustrating this on a course a long time ago. How do you know what really comprises that? I mean, again, if you just click on it, if we said all dates, there's a lot going on. So it's one way to check to see what undeposited funds haven't cleared is just simply to go new, create a new bank deposit. And what you can see here is this is that balance. It's basically undeposited funds is like funds in transit. And it's like somebody has received a check and they haven't put it in the bank yet or something like that. And when you've got something sitting in undeposited funds, it shows up at the top here. But this top is only shown if there's checks that are like, you've said this check came in but hasn't gone into the bank yet. For example, over here, if I open up Anita Bath, it said deposit to undeposited funds, and that's why now we see it as an option on the bank deposit. When that isn't there, most people only see this section. And while I'm showing this, I want to add right away, if you are using the QBO customer interface, like pretty much everybody does, to invoice your clients, never, ever, under any circumstance, use add funds to this deposit, receive from Anita Bath, sales income, the sales tax. Don't put your customer stuff there. Don't put your revenue and sales there. You use the kind of customer interface to do that. Otherwise, you're not going to see your customer history. You're going to have double entered income. It's a nightmare. Don't do it. Don't do it. There are times and places to put in sales this way, but it's really small businesses that don't have a lot going on, and you just like clearing the bank feed and not really caring about who it was sold to and if they're carrying a balance or anything like that. So for small, very small businesses, it's available, but for 99% of businesses, you use this add funds for deposit for grants or petty cash going into the bank. Don't use it for sales. So that's a pro bookkeeping tip that I just want the world to know. Business hack number 3. When your system contributes to chaos or clarity. So we've checked the bank reconciliation, accounts receivable, accounts payable, undeposited funds. We're still not done though. We've covered the big hitters and the traditional culprits. But if you really want to feel confident in your bookkeeping numbers, you need to take that balance sheet seriously and look at every GL account on that balance sheet and confirm it. Can we confirm the bank GL accounts? Yep, we reconcile them. Can we confirm the accounts payable and the accounts receivable? Yep. Vendors give statements on account that we can match to, and yep, you can review your unpaid invoices and chase down invoices that aren't paid. Can we confirm the loan balance? Yes. Ask the bank for a loan statement or what the principal balance is as of a specific date. Is there an intercompany loan general ledger account? Does it match what the other company's intercompany loan general ledger account says? If not, reconcile it. Reconcile, reconcile, reconcile. Can we confirm the cash balance? No. There's no listing to reconcile to. Can we confirm the paid by owner balance or the shareholder loan? There is no listing to reconcile to. Can we confirm the personal mixed-use credit card balance? We can't trust that we know what transactions are business or personal. How would we know if a cash receipt was entered twice or not at all? How would we know if a bill was paid by the business owner's personal credit card and then missed completely on the bookkeeping? How would we know if we entered an expense paid by cash or the owner's personal credit card, and with our entry we just put in an extra couple of zeros? Or maybe not enough zeros. $1,300 is a much different number than $13,000, and that's just with a small typo of just one zero. How would we catch that if there was no listing to compare against? We can't definitively. Double entries, missed entries, and typos can abound when a business uses cash and does not have a dedicated bank account and a dedicated credit card. Cash and mixed-use payment accounts reduces the integrity and reliability of the bookkeeping numbers exponentially, and also increases the amount of time it takes to do the bookkeeping. It exponentially decreases accuracy, reliability, and efficiency. Simply put, it causes chaos. You want clarity? Avoid using mixed-use payment accounts and cash like the plague. You keep hearing this from everywhere for a reason. It feels like half the people understand this and the other half just don't quite understand how much money they're bleeding and accuracy they're losing and time they are wasting. So if you're in the group that already gets this and may be tired of how much I repeat it, know that you are saving so much money and time with this simple decision and have much more reliable bookkeeping than the group who doesn't make this a priority. It's a small thing that actually has huge consequences. And if you're in the second group who's just now seeing the light, remember, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. You are an entrepreneur. Learning as you go is what you do. You got this. Before I sign off today, I have an exciting update. Do you want a deep dive into how to understand what your QBO file is doing behind the scenes? I'm currently working on a new course called QBO for Tax Preparers that is all about understanding how QBO actually works and finding and fixing all of the errors that new QBO users are inadvertently guided to add because of the design of QBO. I'll be pre-releasing the first half of this course for those who are interested. And if you want to get a 50% discount on this pre-release, sign up to be on the waiting list. Everyone on this no obligation waiting list will get a notice when the pre-release is available, plus that exclusive 50% discount. If you found this video useful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Instagram at BeThatBusiness. You can tweet at me, X at me. I'm at NiftyNomi, and I'm also at NiftyNomi on Twitch and TikTok. And you can find resources and courses about running a Canadian business on my website, naomiwilkins.ca. The video today was recorded in beautiful Gananoque, Ontario. Thanks for watching, and get out there and be that business that thrives.